Hey everyone, I am out at a customer's job site today, but I wanted to take a quick second to do a video on the recent BLS Jobs data that was released yesterday. So without further ado, let's jump in. So here is the November jobs report from the BLS. First thing I want to point out is unemployment rate has ticked up to 4.6%. That's kind of funny. They say it was little change from September, but really, when we're talking about these minute percentage points, every little bit makes a difference. That equates to thousands and thousands of people. So I think what's really telling here is if you just look at the unemployment rate, there's a pretty clear trend here, right? And I think that this points to more rate cuts in 2026 when the Fed looks at these numbers. So I also wanted to quickly show you this page showing how jobs numbers have changed in October and November. Jobs were down 105,000 in October, pretty bad month. The majority of that actually came from 157,000 of government jobs lost, and November is 64,000 to the upside, with government jobs staying pretty stable. Healthcare and services have kind of been propping up these jobs numbers over these past couple of months. But you'll see that the growth in the services sector is way down compared to November 2024, as well as, it's trending down from September of this year. We want to keep an eye on manufacturing. That continues to go down. It's hard to say if that's a result of automation or economic trouble, so we'll have to keep watching that number. But interestingly, construction was actually up in November by about 28,000. I would expect that number to come back down, and we might even see negative next month, but we will see. Also, it's worth pointing out that Jerome Powell, in his most recent speech for the Fed meeting, mentioned that the Fed believes that these numbers are inflated to the tune of potentially 60,000 per month, which really doesn't paint a pretty picture. If you look at the trend, it's not good. But if you subtract 60K jobs out of both of these, you're looking at break even for November and a pretty big loss for October. So, what does that mean for rates? Probably more rate cuts. And just for comparison purposes, I want to show you the most recent ADP employment report for November. I think it's good to look at this report. This is actually based on the real payroll that they process on a monthly basis, whereas the BLS numbers are based on surveys. So according to November, 32,000 private jobs lost. It was around 65,000 of jobs gained in the private sector, according to BLS. So pretty big discrepancy there, right? And I think it's important to consider where these job losses are happening. They're not happening at the biggest companies in the country. They're happening at companies that have employees of 50 or less. So you'll see the majority. We've got gains in all these bigger categories and all of these losses in these smaller categories. That could be a result of, private equity acquisitions of these types of companies or roll-ups into larger companies. But I do think it's also very likely that economic policy in the current state of the U.S. Is negatively impacting a lot of these smaller companies that I work with on a day-to-day basis. I just recently learned that these small companies, under 50 employees, make up 43% of total jobs in the U.S. There are about 58 million jobs with these companies compared to companies with 500 plus employees are about 25 million. So just to give you some perspective, these companies are really the lifeblood of America. And they're who I like to work with. I want to help these companies that are struggling, that are looking at layoffs and looking at potential growth opportunities, and trying to figure out if there's financing solutions that can help these folks get through to the other side of this kind of challenging period for them. So that's what I have for you today. Thanks for watching. If you're curious how American Community Bank might be able to help you grow your business or improve the state of your business, please don't hesitate to reach out, and have a good day.